In this video, we are going to cover what are the artifacts in Google ADK framework and how to get started with the artifacts. So let's go with the official definition first. So artifacts are basically a piece of binary data identified by a unique file name. So when we say binary data, it's basically the content of a file. And in this case, we are not just talking about the textual file. File could be any kind of files like images, audio, video, PDF, spreadsheet, and other kind of files. So artifacts actually provide that kind of flexibility to agent and tool to handle data beyond simple text strings. So this is about the official definition. So let's see where exactly the artifacts are going to be helpful for us. So normally when a user interact with the agent, so they pass certain inputs in the text format and then agent provides a response to the user accordingly. And if the user is continuing with this kind of interaction, then ultimately what would happen, there would be a long conversation history which the agent has to maintain in the context window to provide a better response to the user. Now, this is good for the text information because we know texts are not going to be that much large, which would cause any kind of trouble to fit into the context window. But let's see a scenario where instead of text, we are going to upload some kind of large PDF file or some kind of videos to the agent. And then we start asking question to the agent. Now, in this case, what would happen, because we have uploaded all these files directly to the agent, then agent has to maintain these large files also in its context window. And if the user continues to have that kind of interaction with the agent, then agent has to maintain all the conversation history along with all these files into its session to provide a better response to a user. So even in the conversation, user is not asking any specific question related to the uploaded file. Even in that case also, agent has to keep referring files because it's already there in its conversation history. And ultimately this would cause latency in generating the response. And because these large files are already there in the agent's session, so more number of tokens are going to be generated and it would increase the cost as well. So just to solve this particular problem, ADK has introduced these artifacts. So you can think of artifacts as an additional bucket which would keep all your large files into it. So suppose if you're dealing with some large images, spreadsheet, video or PDF, then it's better to keep this file as an artifacts rather than directly putting it into sessions. Sessions is going to be useful when you are only dealing with the textual conversation or you have like certain kind of configuration that we have to maintain. But if you are going to switch into the large files and if you want to have those kind of conversation with the agents, then it's better to keep these files into artifacts, because once you keep this file into artifacts, then what would happen? Agent is not going to keep these artifacts into its session history, and they are only going to refer the artifacts when certain questions are coming related to artifacts. So this would enable faster response for you, and the number of tokens are also going to be less, which would lower your cost as well. Now, how to enable these artifacts in Google ADK? So there are basically two kind of services which are provided by Google ADK. One is in-memory artifact service and other is going to be GCS artifact service. In-memory artifact service would be helpful where if you're looking for some kind of temporary storage or if you're doing like some kind of testing, because it will keep all these artifacts in its memory only for you to test out the functionality. But if you're looking for a production use case, then it's better to use the GCS artifact service, because in this case, what would happen, your artifacts are going to be stored in Google Cloud Storage. So it's going to be stored there permanently, which you can use it across different applications, across different sessions without worrying about like it will be gone once your application has been shut down. So when we deal with artifact, there are different kind of interfaces are provided to interact artifacts. So one common functionality is going to be save artifacts. So save artifact would help you to save any kind of artifact. It could be your PDF file, it could be your text file, it could be your video file, any kind of file would be there. This particular interface is going to help you to save those kind of artifacts. Then suppose once the artifact has been saved, now there are certain questions are coming on the artifact. then agent has to invoke this load artifact so that it can refer the required artifact and give you the response to the user accordingly. Then if you want to just list out all the artifacts, whatever you have stored, then there is another interface for that, which is list artifact. And then if you want to delete some kind of artifact which you have already saved it, then you can use this delete artifact. Now, where exactly it's going to be useful? So there are some certain common use cases. It is going to be helpful in dealing non-textual data like video, spreadsheet, PDF, any kind of file you can consider as an artifact. Another use case would be where your agent has to generate like certain kind of report and files. That's where actually, rather than generating it as a normal file, generate and save it as an artifact. Other use case could be the persisting user data. And the last one could be handling user uploads. All this user upload also you can just save it as an artifact, which would be cost efficient, as well as at the same time it will help you to reduce the latency of your application. So there is a very nice article on Medium just to show you the impact of the artifacts. So if we go over here, then you can see the user first of all just trying to upload a video file and then trying to ask a question related to this video file. And the user is able to get a response, and this response he is basically getting in 33 seconds, as you can see over here. And then again he's trying to ask another question, but in this case the question is not related to this video file, but still the response is coming in 25 seconds. And why this is happening? Because user has uploaded this particular video file first, and irrespective whether the question is related to this video file or not, once it has been loaded into a session, then agent is going to keep referring this particular file because it's there in its context window. So how this is going to get changed totally once we declare this video file as an artifact. This is the second screenshot. So in this case, you can see he's asking the same question in this particular video also. But in this case, this particular video file has been declared as an artifact. He is able to get a response. So the first response is getting in 34 seconds. But the next question, which is not related to this particular video file, in this case, the user is not going to refer this video file because this has been stored as an artifact. And as we have covered, whenever anything related to artifact comes into a picture, then only agent is going to call specific interfaces just to load the artifact and give the answer. Because in this case, this is not related to artifact. So agent is directly just going ahead and giving the response. And the impact would be, in this case, the same response is going to come only in 2 seconds. Whereas earlier it was coming into 25 seconds. So you have approximately saved around 23 seconds just declaring this video as an artifact only. So that's the impact of artifact, and that's how actually you can make your application better if you are dealing with larger files. So this was an overview of artifacts. In next few videos, we would cover the code part of artifacts, like how to declare it, how to use it. But for now, that's all what we have in this video. Thank you for watching.